Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with Neverending Parity by GDC. So this begins our February theme week, which is loops. So loop is a pretty generic thing, but in every single puzzle this week, you will be drawing some kind of loop following some kind of rule that dictates how the loop works. So let's go over the rules to this specific one. All right, so we have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules, meaning in each row, each column, and each 2x3 box, we are placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. We're also going to be drawing a parity loop in the grid. It's a one cell wide loop of orthogonally connected cells. Orthogonally connected just means they share an edge. You can't have them just share a point. And the loop can't touch itself, not even diagonally. Now, what I'm going to do, and I recommend you do this too, is even though there is a pen tool that lets us draw lines, it's actually a lot more natural to try to draw the loop by shading. So for example, this could be a loop. Notice that it is always one cell thick, and wherever it goes, it's not, other than, connecting, right? It doesn't touch itself, not even diagonally. So just as an example, what I can't do is come back up here and then back down around like this. Now, if I were to draw it with the pen tool, I could actually distinguish that. I could do this and show you that that's a loop. But by having to shade the cells, you see that it immediately becomes ambiguous what's happening. And so that's why I recommend using shading. And then not touching itself even diagonally. If we get rid of all this, means I can't turn around like this and then I don't know, I didn't do that well, but this here, this is not allowed unless it were just to immediately come up and connect, right? The loop can't touch itself diagonally. So we can't do something like this where these, maybe this would come up. I don't know. I can't figure out a way to immediately fix this to show that, but this would be touching diagonally because it doesn't connect here or here. All right. So that's why I recommend drawing that with shading, so that you can more easily see that that's happening. All right, but how do we determine the loop? That's always the question. Okay, well, first of all, it is a parity loop. So adjacent digits on the loop contain one odd and one even digit. So let's just draw a simple loop here. If this were our loop, every set of adjacent digits on the loop, one of them's odd, one of them's even. So if this is a 2, then these two surrounding the 2 have to be odd. So this could be 3 and 5. All right. Now, how do we determine where the loop goes beyond that? Well, circles are always on the loop, and they count the number of loop cells in the box. So if this was a 4, it itself is on the loop, and maybe the loop does something like this. So it touches 4 cells in the box. The squares are not on the loop and count the number of non-loop cells in the box. So this would not be on the loop, but let's say the loop did something like this and didn't touch these cells, then this would be a 2 because there's 2 cells of the loop there. All right, so that's it. Those are the rules. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color all of the circles green and all of this squares gray. In fact, I'm going to use a slightly darker gray. I'm just going to change my palette. And for those who don't know, if you long press on the color palette, you can edit the colors. Hopefully that gray is visible. So gray is going to be not on the loop, and green is going to be on the loop. Now this is in a corner because the loop has to fully connect. As a loop, it doesn't have an end to it. These have to be on the loop because it has to keep going. And now, in order to not touch diagonally, we have to connect. We also can't touch ourselves this way, so we have to connect here. And now we know this cell here can't be on the loop. We're not allowed to make that loop. We have to continue then to here. Now, if we came down, we would be touching ourselves diagonally, or we would be making a very tiny loop that didn't include these, which is not allowed either. So we're not going to come down, which means it's going to continue here. And from here, we have some optionality, I would say. This is never on the loop because the loop would have to touch itself to do that. Okay. This has to get out in both directions. We always need, every loop cell has 2 cells touching it, right? These are the only 2 that work. So we're going to do that. We're not going to go down into this corner and get lost. So we're not doing that. Now we're either going to come down and connect here, or we're going to go here and connect. I don't know which way we go, and that's going to depend on the value of this. This is 3 or, oops, I didn't mean to do that. This is 3 or 4, because there's either 3 loop cells or there's 4 loop cells. We don't know which one. This is most definitely a 4. That's its only option. This is at least 3, because we could beeline right out. Although if we did that, I don't think that actually doesn't work. If we try to beeline out like this, how do we, I mean, we can't connect up to this, right? This is going to have to come all the way back down around. So that would connect there. And then this would come down and create this loop here. And this would get excluded. This guy is excluded now. So even if we took this cell, we can't immediately leave. Now, if we took this cell, we could immediately leave, and that would let us be a 3. In fact, that looks very plausible to do this like that. That's plausible. And that would make this a 3. So this is, we can't do all 5 of these though, because then the loop touches itself. So this is a 3 or a 4. How would it be a 4 if we come down straight down like this? That doesn't work. I think this only works as a 3 if it just goes straight down. Let's think about that more. If we wanted to touch 4 cells, we would, in fact, we might have a parity argument here. The parity argument's easier, but I just want to kind of go over this. I don't think this can touch 4 cells, because the only way to do that would be to exit from here. And exiting from here is not possible, because we'd have to connect up to this, which is also having to connect up to this. So we'd end up branching our loop. So yeah, it just doesn't. I don't think this works. Yeah, this kind of gets isolated over here. Right, but an easier argument is because it's a parity loop, which I completely forgot. These are 1, 3, or 5. These are 2, 4, or 6, not the 4, right? And so then this is 1, 3, or 5, and we just said it can't be definitely not the 1, and it can't be the 5 because it can't take all of these. That would touch itself. So it is definitely the 3. That's our 1. And now there's something interesting because we're orthogonally connected. I'm gonna recolor our loop as an every other thing. So I'm gonna make all the evens blue. So we know these are even, and I'm gonna make all the odds orange. But it's gonna checkerboard. We know that this will eventually connect up to this, and it'll do so through edges. And so what that means is, if you notice, our checkerboard like this is always going to be our odd digits if they're on the loop. And then the other ones are going to be our even digits because of the way the loop has to travel. It has to, if you think about a chessboard like this, it has to move from an odd to an even and then back to an odd. And that kind of creates our checkerboard pattern. You can't go from the same, these checkerboards, you can't go directly between them, right? You have to go through another cell that's not on the checkerboard to get there. So hopefully that makes sense. And so the checkerboard I've created here tells us that these have to be the odd digits, and then this has to be even. Since it has to be even, it's a 4, which then makes this part of the loop. So this is 2 or 6. Now this is the number that aren't in the box, and so this is the 2, making that the 6. And so now this is gray because we can't come and touch ourselves. So we have to continue with the blue, which has to be the 4 actually. We have all of our evens for the row, so these are all odd. 3, 5. This counts the number of cells. It's not a 1. I think 5 has the same issue where it's going to have to touch itself, so it is a 3. Which means we got to beeline right out of here. This is odd, and we got to get out. This is even, and so that connects this loop up. So this is 2 or 6. This is 1 or 5. Oops, it's not a 1. This is our 5. This is also 2, 6. This is our 1. This is our 5. All right. This loop is actually kind of hard to see now that it goes every other. This is odd, so it's not on our loop, because this is not allowed to be an odd cell on our loop. So it actually has to come down and be even here. Now this connects up to here somehow. So okay, this has to be blue, and it has to continue to orange. So these connect up in some way. This is 2 or 4. So I wonder if the value of this is important. There's a 5 in one of these two, a 4 in one of these two. 3 in this box actually only goes here. Trying to do Sudoku to see if it helps. Freeze one of these two. We know the loop doesn't get into here. It wouldn't be able to get back out. So does it go down and connect here? That would make this a 2. That doesn't work, right? So if it comes down and goes here and connects up, this would have to be a 2, but this is already a 2. So it actually has to come around here. This is orange. And now it could come down and be blue here, or it could be blue here. So we got to be careful. But it means that it means that these two are definitely never on our loop. Also, we know these aren't loop because there's no way it's coming back and touching itself, because we can't come back around and touch ourselves down there. So we definitely can't connect and branch there. This finishes our loop. That's all I'm saying. So this can't be a 4 though. So this actually has to be a 3, which means this has to be blue, and that finishes our loop. All right. So we have our loop. I'm gonna actually just, I don't know, should I draw it? I could draw it in green just to show our loop here. Okay. Connects up. So that's our loop. It's very distracting, isn't it? Okay. Anyway, we're good. We'll just keep the coloring as is. What do I need here? These are 2, 4, 6. This can't be 2 or 4, right? So that's our 6. These are a 1, 3 pair. Yeah, this is 3. This is 1. The 5 was gone. So these are 2, 4, 6. It's not 4. These are 1, 3. That's not a 3. So that's 1. That's 3. This has to be the 1 for the box. That's 2 and 6. It is a little bit confusing that we have grays that can be even or odd. That's 6. That's 2. That's 4. That's 6. We're almost done though. That's 4. That's 4. Notation is probably a problem on this one. Maybe drawing the loop and then with the pen tool and then coloring. I don't know. This is 5, 6. We know the order. That's 6. That's 5. Replaces the 5 here. That's our 3. Sorry, that's a 5. All this color is making it hard to scan. That's a 1. This is a 2. This is a 2, and we're done. All right, cool puzzle, GDC. Nice introduction to our loop concept here. I like how the loop kind of grew, and we used the parity arguments, like this 5 here, blocking the loop from being able to take that because it's not on the right checkerboard. That's kind of neat. So, yeah, and then like these circles getting limited by the fact that they had to be even. I like that. Or I think this one was limited by having to be odd. All right, cool. Well, I enjoyed that. Hope you did too. If you did, then why don't leave a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.